blaze a trail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders never fail.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
That's that energy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the On the Fence podcast. Today we have a guest who's an absolute problem for defense, as a playmaker, a matchup nightmare, a name that every Washington fan remembers.
That's right. He's the former John Mackey Award winner, standout at USC, second round pick for the Washington Commanders back in 2008. That's Fred Davis, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Yeah.
Good, dude. Good. Fred, we're happy
sir.
to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, man. Absolute great to have you, man. Good friend of ours, happy to have you, on the pod with us. But Fred, I got a question for you. Let's take it back to what got you into football. Did you always see yourself as a tight end, or did that transition happen later?
Man, that's funny. No. I actually for football, I was a late bloomer. You know, when you got guys that was playing at 6 to 8, 10, and all them young leagues getting their bones broken early. I wasn't one of those guys. I actually started in football really, really late for as far as a football player. I didn't start playing until I was really in 8th grade.
Wow.
And I'm really getting serious. And I didn't even play my freshman year. I played my sophomore year. And I was a receiver coming out in Ohio. I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. When I first started playing, 8th grade, I just realized, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I got a little bit of talent. I don't know the game that well. I mean, I know from playing Madden and game day and video games, but I never was like a student of the game. I never really had a favorite team. I just like certain players. So I would just go try to emulate those guys when we go outside and play. You know, like when kids go outside, play scramble, throw up the ball. Whoever get tackled first got to throw it up again. Yeah. So I started out with that. And then in 8th grade, I was too big to carry the ball. So I only played defense in my 8th grade year. So I didn't even know nothing about really offense. I didn't play any positions at all. So I was, but in that 1 year that I had like 140 tackles as a junior, as a junior and junior high, going against like some 9th graders and stuff. So I was like, okay, I guess I got a little bit of talent. But as far as that goes, when I got to high school, I didn't play my freshman year. You know what I'm saying? I did track. I was all city in track. I was all city in basketball. Started varsity. I didn't do no football at all. And then my sophomore year, I was just like, man, you know what? Let me go out here and do football, man, this year. I was like, let me give it a try. You know what I'm saying? Our team was pretty decent. And I made varsity that year, and it really went head over heels after that. My first game, putting up like a couple touchdowns, playing receiver. I've never played tight end, so that's another story. I didn't play tight end until I got to college, like my freshman year. But as far as like when I was being ranked in the rivals and like top 100 in the country, I was like the number 4 receiver in the country coming out. I wish they had NIL deals then.
You would have came up, bro.
Yeah. So I really I was the top receiver. Actually, my label was athlete because I could have played any position because I played every position. So I was really an ATL as far as what they call it, an athlete. And I was like number 5 in that, and then number 10 overall in the country. So yeah, that's how I really got started, and that's when I really started playing football. And I just started playing receiver, and then I right after that, my sophomore year, all the offers started coming in. First was Ohio State, of course, because I'm from Ohio, then Michigan. And then Florida, then you get the University of Miami's, the Oklahoma's, USC, of course. So it all started right there, though.
That's awesome, man, to hear that you were a late bloomer and you were able to have that much of an impact. And I know, you being a receiver was how you entered USC. Tell me about how that changed your approach to the game, having that receiver knowledge and then transitioning over into tight end.
Well, like for me, like so how that happened was I get to USC. I graduated early from high school, so I'm going to USC at 17. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get there as early as possible, trying to get a head start, which I kind of regret a little bit because I feel like sometimes when you don't come in with your class, you got the older guys that are hating on you. You kind of there by yourself. But it's actually, it all works out for the better. But when I first got there, I never lifted weights like that. So I come there, I'm like 205. We do one spring training camp and lifting weights, and the next summer camp I come back, I'm 240. Wow. So I gained like 25 pounds of muscle, man. And I'm drinking muscle milk every day and shit like that. So I got real big, and my and a lot of times I wasn't like, we had some good receivers on that team. We had Dwayne Jarrett, we had Mike Williams, we have all Americans, Steve Smith. What I'm saying, we had the guys that just went to the league. Um, I knew that I could play right away if I really worked on my craft, but I don't think that I was there yet as far as maturity wise. What I'm saying, my rookie year, my freshman year. And then one day, I had some great coaches on that staff. I had Coach Sarkisian, who's the head coach of Texas right now.
Hmm.
I had Lane Kiffin, that was my offensive coordinator. I'm saying,
Sweet.
he's a big time dude. And of course, Pete Carroll and Norm Chow.
Yep.
And then just in one practice, my coach came up to me, my offense coordinator, Norm Chow at the time, was just like, "Hey, man, you looking real good. You're so big and strong. I know you never played tight end before, but there's guys that I had switched over to tight end. Some of them been great, and I feel like you'd be one of them." At first, being a receiver, you kind of like, nah, I don't want to put my hand in no dirt. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to block motherfuckers all day, but it's a different type of position than the tight end position that was a spread offense where you'd be doing a lot more pass catching, and they use them on the deep routes and all kind of stuff like that. So, I thought about it for a while, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I felt that we were lacking in that area anyway, and I feel like the sky could be the limit because I tried out blocking against some of our premier defensive end guys. And I was like, all right, I'm not that bad. A little technique, I'll be all right. So
Yeah.
it all started right there, and then after that, that's when it kind of all really started. Freshman year I got a little bit of playing time, but then sophomore year I got a lot more. Then my junior year a lot more, and we're winning, and you know what I'm saying. And then my senior year get to win the Mackey Award. It was just blessed to be on a team that was great. Reggie Bush, I can go on a list. Clay Matthews, Ray Montaluga. We had like 22 guys that made the draft out of that class. So.
Listen, you alluded to literally my next question because you were part of some dominant USC teams. If people
Yeah,
remember, like under
yeah.
Pete Carroll, you guys was on a run. Okay,
Y'all are
so
some
my
dogs.
question is, dogs, legitimately. Okay, if you go back in those 2000s and late 2000s, Pete Carroll,
Early 2000s, yeah, for
come on
sure.
now.
2004 to
So
2008, two
yeah,
national championships. We shared one. I mean, we should have probably beat Texas, but that didn't happen. But yeah, in that era, man, we were like the Alabama and the University of Miami in that
For
in that
sure.
early 2000 run. I mean,
yeah,
we're always in the top conversation, the top 10 teams in the country, top 5 in the country,
yeah,
either starting out with a number 1 rank or number 2 rank. So yeah, I've been blessed to be on teams like that, and then guys, being blessed with a team with 2 guys winning the Heisman back-to-back years, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, and then the year before
Yeah.
yep,
that, Carson Palmer.
yep,
So yeah, just being able to be around greatness like that, man, it just makes you a better player.
yeah.
And
I was gonna ask you, what's your favorite memory though from that era? You playing with USC? What do you think is that memory that stuck out, throughout your entire life?
man, it's so many of them, man. Of course, winning the Mackey Award is a great memory for
That's
me
dope.
because no other tight end did it at
Yeah,
USC, and that's a lot of history at SC.
there you go.
Um,
Didn't you set a
that's for
record that
sure
year?
as
Wasn't
a,
that
as
like
a,
a
That's a
as an
huge
CTE?
deal.
accomplishment, as an
It's a huge deal.
individual, as
Yeah.
an individual accomplishment. But as far as like my team favorite moment, I mean, even though we lost that game to Texas, that energy in that game was the most craziest game I ever played a part of in my life. Like the
Mm,
crowd, the celebrities that was on the sideline,
hmm.
Magic McConaughey, Magic
Some
Johnson,
big
Charles
stuff.
Bart, like just the type of people that was there, and the energy. Even though we lost that game, that game to me, man, it was the most fun game I ever had. Like as far as energy wise, so that, and then of course won the national championship my freshman year, but I didn't really get to contribute too much to that one. So for me, I would probably say the Texas one.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
So
Texas is
So
like those
big.
moments right there, and like I said, winning the Mackey Award definitely won. Something that I wanted to be the best in my position. Learning the position 2 years ago that I never played, and then to get the best tight end award, I
crazy,
felt like that was really a great accomplishment for me.
I mean,
huge man.
before we move on, I just want to highlight that real quick because I know you're probably too humble to say it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it, y'all. For everybody who doesn't know, Fred had 62 catches, 881 yards, and 8 touchdowns in that year. Like that's impressive because this isn't right now where everything is all spread
Modern day
out. Back in
football.
those days, like
Yeah.
for a tight end to put up those numbers, that was super impressive. So
Yeah. But like also the thing about it is a tight end to put up those numbers with our receivers. Like
exactly,
you're
y'all
Hmm.
not
had
getting no
dogs.
balls like with us. Like I
Yeah,
was
y'all had
lucky to
Reggie.
get 5 targets a game. You know what I mean? So I had to make the most out of my shit. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
you did.
Facts.
So just being like when you in a room with them guys, you got like 2 receivers that can get the ball, you got 2 great running backs. It's kind of hard, you know what I'm saying, to
Hmm.
get those balls and make what you can. But when the opportunity arises, I feel like they needed another threat. And I was an older guy at that time, so I feel like the need to take lead on those situations.
Most def, man. It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely feel like that. And then, after that journey, it went to, straight to the league. Now, before I get to it, I know people gonna ask me, was I a Redskins fan before I got here? I still call them the Redskins, aka my Deadskins. But motherfuckers gonna say, like, who's your team? I didn't know nothing about the Redskins like that, to be honest. Before I knew about the Redskins, but I'm from Ohio. We watched Barry Sanders. We would watch San Francisco and the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Because in the early '90s, what kid didn't like Troy Aikman and motherfucking Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith if he was in a place like I was in Ohio? So I got drafted second round. I had my draft party at back home, and I didn't really expect to because you think that the people that take you on a visit are going to draft you. So the Saints took me on a visit, the Cowboys did, and Green Bay did, and the Patriots. So I figured, like, okay, I might be going to one of these teams. And then they drafted me in the second round, which I was the third tight end taken off the board. Yeah. At first, I didn't understand it because I remember they had Chris Cooley, and I was like, oh, he's a dope tight end. So then I was like, oh, maybe they're going to do like a duo tight end type of thing, which never really came to fruition, to be honest. But yeah, like I really didn't understand it at first. But then when I got to DC, I was like, ooh, shit, now I see why I love it here. I mean, it's an awesome city, man. Kitty, you probably loved it. I was in the streets. I was outside, baby.
Yeah.
So I got to DC and I realized I was like, oh, I love it here. Even though we all the way in Ashburn, Virginia, 30 minutes away, we can go have a good, decent time. So just to have a big city around me, because coming from LA, I mean, you kind of still have that big city type of mentality, but Virginia, Leesburg is not LA, that's for sure. But
that's for sure. So once you got to Washington, like, what was your early impressions like in terms of like the franchise, the fans, the locker room? What was that impression like when you first got here?
I think when you first get to the league, every rookie's just excited to be there, and you just like a deer with your, you just like a deer in the headlights. But I did come from a team that was a powerhouse, so I knew what it would take to win. I know the energy you need to feel. When I first got here, I could tell, why we've been struggling for a while, even though we did come off a good year before Sean Taylor died and went to the playoffs that year. You can see why the structure of the team was where it was at, from up top to the coaches. And we just got a new coach at that time, Jim Zorn, who some say probably didn't deserve that position at that time, who really was a quarterback coach. But my first year entering the league, I had Jim Zorn, who probably didn't have that much control of the team. So my first couple years of me seeing what the league was like, I thought I was on the show Players, on ESPN, where you had the motherfuckers coming in when they wanted to, not showing up or going to sleep or leaving late night check-ins to go to another floor. So I didn't really get a good version of what an NFL should really, really, truly be like my first 2 years. So it was a lot of guys that was on that team that was older guys getting paid that wasn't doing much, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really like a really competitive team. We had some guys that were stars, of course, like Santana, Clinton at that time. I mean, Jason Campbell was our quarterback, but he was the most sacked quarterback. All of his confidence was basically shot almost when I got there because he was the most sacked quarterback. We didn't really have help on the O-line. We had a good defense, but our offense was really struggling at that time. And you could tell it was a lot to do with the play calling and the system that we had. So for me, it wasn't the most pleasurable first 2 years, but I put up a few stats and just got to play a little bit and trying to see where they were going to go the direction of me and Chris Cooley together and with the rest of the team. But to be honest with you, no, it wasn't the best, but it was definitely a learning experience of how not to be a pro.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned some big names there as far as Clinton Portis, Santana, Chris Cooley, all of those guys. Yeah. How was it with those personalities? You kind of alluded to it, but how was it? Like, do you have any good memories with those guys or anything that really stood out when you were interacting with some of those guys?
Yeah, like some of those guys still my people, you know what I mean? Like, like Ragpo, I still talk to, Clinton, Santana. I had 7 different quarterbacks as I played here, so I never got to be comfortable with one. I played around the Albert Haynesworth era when all that trash was going on.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That was a crazy
I've seen a lot of guys that were high quality. Jason Taylor come through. I've seen a lot of big names come through here. And they were towards the ends of their careers. So, but other than that, yeah, man, with my relationships, you have relationships. There's 53 guys on a team. I tell everybody this, it's like you going to work. You might hang with 3 or 4 of the dudes, when y'all go to work, y'all go to work. But as far as our relationship, as far as that, sometimes it ends like right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes
Who's the
sense, man. I mean,
funniest?
The
yeah, who's the
funniest,
funniest?
Yeah.
I would say Clinton's pretty funny, man.
Okay.
No, Fred Smoot. Fred Smoot. Fred Smoot
Fred
Okay.
is funny.
Smoot.
I was
Those
gonna
two.
say.
Nah,
That's
Fred
that.
Smoot. I gotta give it my boy Fred.
The mouth of the South.
hmm
The mouth of the
Fred
South,
Smoot.
man. Fred
Yeah, the
is our
mouth of the
guy,
South. He the funniest. That motherfucker Fred Smoot. You can put in anything. It can be the
Oh,
worst
he
situation. He'll
hilarious.
say something that's crazy.
ain't he? I love Fred, man. I've actually hung out with Fred. I had the pleasure to hang out with Fred a couple times, man. We hung out on a boat, a couple years ago, and that's when I really
Yeah.
got to know Fred and see him for like the personality he really has. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah. He
like,
got a lot
yo,
of personality. Yeah, that's
he's
good.
hilarious, bro. Like naturally, like he
Yeah,
could have
naturally.
been a
It's
comedian.
that
Like
Southern. It's that
he
South.
don't
It's
even
that
try.
Mississippi.
You don't be trying.
Mississippi.
Right. Yeah, man. So and you did talk about, you did talk about the successful season that you had in 2009, but you also had a successful season, breakout season in 2011. So
Yeah.
2009, 2011, what do you think clicked for you those years in comparison to others?
2000 and the first year I got here, they didn't know how to use me, and I mean, to be honest, I was making a lot of rookie mistakes, not showing up to work on time, sometime, or if I wasn't involved, pouting and doing all that shit. And sometimes you gotta get mature. I think the next following year, I just took it more of like, whatever comes my way, I'm gonna take it and do whatever I can with it. And 2009, I got to put up some numbers because also I think Cooley got hurt that year. So the first half of the season, and I'll tell you a story, which is always good to listen to your pros. I had big
Mm,
Chris Samuels, all pro. That was like one of my people that I fucked with on the team that gave me a lot of guidance. One game, I think it was like 7 games in the season. And I just like, every guy goes through it. You get on the side of the line and you're like, I know I should be playing in this game. I know I should be contributing more. I don't understand why they don't call no plays. I don't understand why I'm on the sideline. And one thing, Big Chris Samuels told me is, man, Fred, I know how you feel, but you can't never not be prepared. Just be prepared for any situation. You don't know what can
that,
happen. And literally 2 seconds later, Chris Cooley goes down with a broken
yeah.
leg. And shit, they called my number literally that same game. And
Wow.
I was like, oh shit, this is what he was talking
Wow.
about. I
That's what
go
he's
in,
talking
put up some numbers, and then for the rest of the season, I got the position, and I showed them what I can do with it. Put up like 500 yards or something like that, and 500 or 600 yards in like 6 games and like 4 touchdowns, some shit like that. And
You went
then it
about.
just really showed them
10
like,
games.
damn,
You started 10 games. You had 48
yeah,
receptions, 509 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
yeah, 500,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. That was like the little start of my shit right there. When
Yep.
he first got out of there, and then I had to come in. You know what I'm saying? And I just did what I could with it and made it happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it kind of started at. And I just feel like that type of stuff happens to a lot of different players. Like people don't understand. There's a lot of players on the bench that could be started somewhere else. It's all politics. You know what I'm
True.
saying? Now there's
True.
some people that are LeBron James of the league, and there's some people that's the Patrick Mahomes. But if we talking about just every day, the guys that y'all don't see, it's guys that can be playing this league. But it's just if a coach don't like him, or he don't
Mm,
play the right way, or his attitude not the right way, or he don't fit in the system, or it's a numbers game, then it could be a change in somebody's life. So I got an opportunity to do that. And then the following year, 2010, we finally got a real coach. I mean, I ain't gonna say real coach, but we got a solidified coach in Shanahan, which brought
yeah.
a lot more, reality back to the team of how it should be ran. And I feel like, I'm just saying, but again, though, we go from one quarterback to another quarterback now, from Jason Campbell to Donovan McNabb, which he was in his older years, you know what I'm saying? And we was in a new system, and I don't think him and Shanahan got along. So it was another bump in that year, you know what I mean? As far as like we start out 6-0, then we go 6-10. So yeah, it was just it was a lot of that with the Redskins in my early first part of my years, man. To be honest.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, your story is one of perseverance, though, to be able to still
Yeah, I mean, you
overcome
got
that
to
and put up
last through
some
different
numbers.
regimes and go through different coachings is really hard to do in this league because usually it don't matter how good you are. If another coach comes, they usually want to get everybody out of there that they feel is a headache or they want
You
to
saw
clean
what happened.
house.
You saw
And
what
you know what I'm
happened
saying? It
this
happens
past
all the
year.
time.
The
So
turn shit.
I literally had to reprove myself to the Shanahans. They
Mm-hmm.
brought another tight end to try to replace me. I was killing them in camp, and I was killing all my one-on-one, destroying everybody. So I made it so they couldn't cut me. So I made it so they couldn't try to get rid of me. And so I stayed. They signed me to another deal after that, another 3-year deal before I got franchise tag. So yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, that season was crazy too. That
Yeah, so
2011 season.
2011, and then if we go to 2011, that's when we had a huge quarterback controversy because we didn't know who was going to be our quarterback. Was it going to be
Right.
Rex Grossman, John Beck? We let go of Donovan that year when we had him for a year. He signed $100 million deal.
Crazy.
It was just a lot of crazy shit going on
Crazy.
around that time. We signed
Crazy.
Halbert Hainsworth that time. We just cut him. So 2011 was just like a fresh new slate. And I felt like, I came in prepared as a pro. I think this is my 4th year. So I was like a little bit more prepared. I came in, I cut a lot of weight, got shredded up a little bit, lost a lot of body fat. I was running like a receiver. And I was just killing their ass in every practice. And I was just like, man, I think I could be the starter. And I always wanted me and Chris Cooley to play together, but that training camp that I had was so crazy, and I was destroying people so bad that they ended up letting him go with like the second game of the season, which I didn't believe. I was shocked because they called me to do an interview about it when I'm going home, and I'm just thinking like everything's normal. But then it made me realize how this league is. It's what have you done for me lately? So that was a real like. There's a lot of moments in your career you'll recognize little shit like that makes you aware of what's to come for you as well. So
They call it NFL not for long, right?
yeah, it don't matter if you Jerry Rice. I don't give a fuck who you is. Once you're done, unless you're on TV every day, then people don't care.
True.
Yeah. So you gotta live every moment for the moment. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. So with that being said, that was a really highlight, and I think your career, like I said earlier, it's been one of perseverance on there. You had some highs, you had some lows. Let's talk about a little bit of a tougher moment for you. How was it dealing with that Achilles injury in 2012? Because like you said, you were from 2011 to 2012, like from a fan perspective, we were like, yo, Fred's about to go crazy. Like, we got RG, he's about to go stupid. And even the highlights we saw from that season, it was really tough watching that happen. So, you give us the firsthand experience. How was it persevering?
Yeah, man, to be honest, man, a little bit of the high was 2011. I put up almost 800 yards receiving. But then the low was me and Trent Williams, we both got suspended for marijuana. And at the time, the rules not then
You
were a
missed
lot
4
harder.
games. You missed 4 games that season,
I missed
right?
4 games, and I had 800 yards. Now, you do the math. Now, even if I have a slump game, if I get them 4 games, I'm going over stack, bro.
Oh, easily.
Like,
Going
that's
over
just a
stack.
fact.
Been like a
For sure.
1,200
And,
yard
like,
season.
that's a little bit of the high part, and then a little bit of the low part was when me and Trent got suspended because that just messed it up. Because that's a year where it could have been a Pro Bowl year, but the Pro Bowl won't let you be a vote if you get suspended. So for me, that even though it's my fault, but the rules have changed so severely now. Like I wouldn't even been in trouble with the situation that I had, for a first timer, and just what it does to you and just what it does to your name, it just messes it up a lot for you and for coaches to trust you. So to be honest, and then coming into that 2012 year, I was like, oh, you know what? It's cool. I'm going to redo it again. They franchise tagged me. I was like, I'm going to start all over. And I did it all over again, killing them in camp. First 4 games of the season, I'm the leading receiver on the team. And I could tell the way the season going, my trajectory, I think I had like 380 yards going my Achilles tour. I'm only like 5 games in. So I'm on track to go up to that same number again. So that would have been almost, in my head, 2 back-to-back seasons, almost 800 and 1,000 yards. So that would have solidified me for sure in this league as one of the top threats as a tight end. And then the New York Giants, man, I fucking tear my Achilles. It probably was the worst feeling I ever have had in my life because usually you want a knee or something because the knee surgeries are 10 times better than what they were. With Achilles, man, it's really not much you can do. You lose a little bit, you know what I'm saying, even though you could probably still play with it. But it's just like when I seen that happen, man, I didn't feel the pain at first. All I felt was emotion. I just went back to the locker room, cried, threw shit around because I'm like, this is a contract year for me. And if I was doing what I was doing, getting those top 5 numbers, I would be able to be in that $40 to $50 million conversation. I already did pretty well making money in the league, but I want to get to that point, So, man, just a lot of pain in that moment, a lot of hurt, but just trying to think what to do next and how to get back from that. And then re-get my Achilles back healed and then come back stronger the following year.
Yeah, man. So, keeping it on the, challenges and adversity. I mean, you face some setbacks, off the field and on the field.
Yeah.
Looking back, what lessons would you take away from those experiences? Something that you can maybe share for, a tight end or a young player coming into the league today.
Yeah, I would say just for a player in general, just live in the moment, man. Don't try to fast forward shit. Don't look in ahead, even if it's a situation that you don't want to be in. Appreciate that moment and go hard at it every chance you get. because once that moments are gone, it's gone. It's just a moment. You know what I mean? It's a memory. So I would say live in the moment, do your best in that moment. Don't, get down on yourself, or don't, it's okay to feel your emotions and understand what you're feeling. But at the same token, just to live in that moment and make the right choices that you feel. You know what I mean? I don't have any regrets, but I feel for the next person that if they were listening to me, I would tell them to live in a moment and abide by what they really feel their heart is true to. And if it's something they don't like, then let it be known, but then still give that same effort, And because this league is what you call it, not for long. Definitely if it's in playing sports, live in
Right.
that moment, because these moments you don't get many of them. You don't get many wins. You get many more losses than you will wins in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So just appreciate the wins that you get, and then living off of that, and then making something out of it.
Most def, man. There's a lot to
Yeah,
be learned out of those losses, those lessons that come out of
yeah, for
those,
sure.
man.
Yeah,
But with that being said, in today's NFL, right, things are becoming a lot more tight end focused. It's a lot more receiving heavy, and we were alluding to it a little bit earlier. I think you would have been great in today's NFL. What do you think your fit would have been like in today's game? Like, how do you think you would have really impacted things, specifically if you got a chance to play with a guy like Jaden?
man, I was, whew, man, I'll be man. Rookie year, I probably would have went for 800 yards.
Seriously.
If I was able to start with
Yeah.
a quarterback, I mean, I had RG3, and
Mm-hmm.
I had Kirk Cousins too. You know what I'm saying? So I had a feeling what it was like to be with somebody like that. But Jaden Daniels is kind of like on a different level with his poise, man. I've never got comfortable with a quarterback. That's one thing I do regret me not being able to have, but that was out of my control. Or
Mm-hmm.
being in an organization that like the Commanders are now, like you can feel like the energy, you feel like they're more under more better ownership, better
Absolutely.
management. I came into some BS type of situation. So I always think
You
about that.
did.
That's always goes in the back of my mind. Like, what if I was in a situation with a solidified quarterback right away, with a person that I know I could trust in, or in a
Fit.
team that I know I believe in, or that that can hold me accountable and actually do things the right way. I feel like, man, I think the sky would be the limit for me. Nowadays, it's not as, they don't hit as hard as they used to. You know what I'm saying? Look, the rules have changed a lot.
Don't.
It's very pass friendly. Man, I don't know. To be honest with you, I feel like I would do very well in this league. I
Yeah,
really
for
do,
sure.
honestly. And I feel like it's more built for a tight end like me, my
Yep.
size, my speed. That's more like a fullback slash halfback slash receiver slash
Yeah.
tight end position. So I feel like, yeah, for me it would have been, yeah, I would think it would have been all open for me.
Man,
I
how
feel
do
like
you
We
I would
look
have
in
100%.
definitely
Cliff's
had some.
offense? Like, I feel like a tight end like you in Cliff's offense, the way they attack space constantly, your play style would have been crazy for that.
Yeah, I think it would have been awesome, man. I definitely do. I know it for sure because
Yeah, man.
I've put up talent. I've done stuff with guys of less caliber, so I know for sure if I had that type of
That part.
situation, it would be rap. So,
Hmm.
but you can't have no regrets. You always got to accept things for what it is. It could always be a what if, but I understand that this is the game. This is what we signed up for. Some people get put in better positions. Some people don't. You know what I mean? Like, give me Gronk, let me be Gronk and get drafted by the Patriots with Tom Brady my first
Crazy.
2 years, and we'd be talking a different situation probably
True.
right now.
That's a fact. You ain't
You never
never
lie.
lie, Craig.
Nah, for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We absolutely love it though. I mean, I 100% agree with you. Listen, you were ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
you came in before your time. Like if you would in today's NFL, you're a receiver converted tight end. You
Yeah.
know, knowing that alone, and then obviously you learn the technique because even when you got to the NFL, you were able to block,
Yeah,
pass,
no, people don't talk
catch.
about that as much, bro.
That's
But my
true.
blocking shit got on
Blocking was
point,
pretty
and I give
good.
that all credit to Chris Cooley because as
He,
a smaller tight ends, it's hard to when you're a 6'3" guy, 6'4" guy, 250, you're blocking like 6'6", 280 guys. A
yep.
lot of guys, they're not great at blocking. They might put a hand on the guy, but Chris really emphasized that shit. And he was all the way round threat where you didn't have to take him out on third down. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to take him out on first down.
Right.
He could play the whole game. And I kind of wanted to emulate that and be like that kind of because I knew I was strong enough to do it at one point. So I felt like once if I get my hands on a guy early, he might be bigger, he might be stronger, but as long as I can seal that block, I'm in a good position. And I feel like I got way better at that as time went on. So yeah.
Nice. Nice,
Mm-hmm.
man. So, listen, we're gonna jump right into this next session, right? We're gonna do a fun. It's our fan fun Q&A. Okay,
All
so
right.
we're gonna hit you with some rapid fire fan questions. So first up, who was the toughest defender you ever faced?
Let's go on.
Toughest defender. Okay, so I mean, well, when I face somebody, usually it's gonna be the linebackers and safeties.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have to say Ed Reed.
Ooh,
Ah,
I can see
Yeah,
that.
Ed
come on, Hall of
Reed.
Famer.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
because he based you a lot into a lot of shit, and he got good coverage skills. He's just all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I say Ed Reed.
All right, I'll take that. What was your favorite NFL stadium to play in? Of course,
Besides
Favorite
FedEx.
NFL stadium to
I'm sure it's not
play in?
FedEx. Besides FedEx.
Yeah, besides FedEx. The Cali stadiums. I always like going to the West Coast for some reason. I just like because no matter where you go there, the weather's gonna be cool. You're gonna get a good game. I like playing in the Chargers stadium. I actually like playing in Seattle stadium because they get loud. And that shit just
Yeah.
enticing. It makes it more fun. You know what I'm saying? Like the sound in there is just they feel like they on top of you in that stadium.
Mm,
It's that fuel.
let us see it. Let us see it. So, if you could have played in any era, past, present, which would it be?
Shit. I was paying today's era because they paying the tight ends way more than they paying running backs.
I know that's right.
That part.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So next one is gonna be what's your favorite food spot in the DC area?
Oh man, that's hard because DC is a great foodie city,
Yes,
man.
it is.
There's always some good restaurants here. Damn, the favorite. Damn, that's gonna be a hard one to play.
What about back in the days
Uh,
when you were playing here? Like if you had to pick your favorite spot to eat at,
I mean, I like Ocean Prime.
Ocean
I
Prime.
like
All
Ocean
right.
Prime is one of my favorites. This is like I'll go with that.
I
I'll
bet,
never
bet,
go
bet,
wrong.
bet. A little lobster, a little
Nothing,
steak.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Joe's or Ocean Prime. Yeah.
Here we go. If you could build the ultimate Washington offense from guys you play with, who's in it?
All right. So 3 receivers, 1 tight end. All the guys that played for Washington.
Yeah, the
I
ultimate
would
Washington
go.
offense from the guys you play with.
Oh, the guys I play with,
Right.
or even guys currently
No, no, that you played with.
that I play with.
Yeah.
I would definitely put Santana in there, Pierre Garcon.
Ooh, yeah.
Uh, who else was there when I was there? I feel like would be my third receiver. Damn.
Didn't y'all have
You know
D-Jax at
what?
one point?
Huh?
Didn't y'all have Deshaun Jackson at one point?
Yeah, he came in after I left. I wish I got to play. That's my boy too. I
Oh,
would
you
have
didn't get to
definitely.
play with him.
Man.
Yeah, so I would have to probably choose. If I choose the third one, I would choose Randall L. Third.
Oh,
I would-
yeah,
Antoine
hands
Randall
down.
L.
That's
Yeah,
good.
At 2 tight ends, I would go me and Cooley.
Yup.
of course.
At quarterback, I would go Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
What I played with, running back for sure, Clinton. Fullback, Mike Sellers. Offensive line, Trent Williams. And we can go from there. We can look throw who else in there. Just in there.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
That's
Nah,
it.
Trent,
That's
Trent,
it. That's
Trent,
that's all we
you
need
needed.
right there.
Man,
Yeah,
I mean,
need
we're
that
Silverback.
left
almost at the
tackle.
end of this. How was it? Like, I know you say you and Trent are close. Like, Trent, for the fan base, you know what he means to us, even though he over in San Francisco. Like, he meant the world to us. How was it with Trent, man? How is he?
Man, the best athlete, the best fat, out of shape looking athlete I ever seen in my life. The nigga fast, can dunk, motherfucker can run a 4.6 at 300 pounds.
Crazy.
He's just incredibly talented, man.
Gifted.
And he was just a dog. He was just mean too, like just a mean motherfucker. Like
looked
you know what I'm
mean.
saying? Like on the field, he just a mean motherfucker. He like when Trent's, if y'all probably don't know, but Trent's first 2-3 seasons, he had the most flags from referees after the call for trying to fight and bully motherfuckers. He just was that type of guy, and just having him on your team, he was just fun, man. We used to party all the time. We were the younger guys on the team, so we hung out a lot of Miami trips, a lot of Vegas trips, shit like that. So I always knew the good side of Trent. He's a total different person when off of the field. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool, chill, but when he on the field, he just nasty, and that's the type of player you want to play with.
I mean, bro, he's 37 and still playing at the highest
37,
level.
yeah.
Highest
At a
level.
high level. Yeah, bro. Still one of the top 10 tackles in the league, if not 5. So,
Top
yeah.
5 for
Facts.
sure.
Facts.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll actually like to see him back in Burgundy and gold. At least
I would
one.
like to see that for like 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
1 year.
I mean,
Like
even if
maybe
it's just for him to retire,
San
here, I'd be
Francisco
okay with
look
that.
like they passed their prime. I think the reason why that did happen is because that man was playing with a tumor on his head, and our staff didn't let him know. This is a total
That's a
different
fact.
staff. I feel like they got a whole different regime over there. So I think, is a lot needed. I think if
Yeah,
he
man.
came back, he'll get the love he deserved and be respected the way he
Yeah.
should be.
You're right. It was that misdiagnosis,
Yeah,
him misdiagnosis. Obviously, that set him off, and
Yeah, nah,
and it
as it
caused the
should.
trembles between the caused the trembles between him and the organization. So as
yeah.
he
I
should,
mean,
I would have left too,
that's the one of
because
the
that was
best
life
brightest
threatening.
spots on your team, and you do that to that man, and you playing for a wild card spot. But this
That's a
man's
life and
health,
death
he's been
thing.
giving you his all for the longest. So just out of respect thing, I don't know if they could ever heal that situation, but I feel time heals all wounds. So yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. So yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. This is our
Yeah,
final
man.
thought.
It's been a blast, man, Fred. So, like, where can people keep up with you today, man? What's going on? Like, how can the people tap in with you? What you got going
Yeah,
on?
man. I'm Instagram. I don't really do it much more social media. FDA at yahoo.co.uk. And also, right now, I do player development stuff at USC, giving back to
Nice.
kids, do
That's
my
dope.
own little marijuana stuff, distribution stuff that I do at Cali. Other than that, man, that's pretty much all I've been doing, man, and just working on my craft. And I have a son that's 18 that's getting ready, to be up next.
Nice.
So we're gonna see what happens with that.
Nice, man.
That's love,
Nice.
man. Happy to hear
So
that.
that's very,
For
very
sure.
much so. So I mean, listen, you got any final thoughts on today's NFL or just the team in general? Like, how
Hmm.
do you feel about this team? The league, the transition that we're going into, and just overall this new regime. Like, give us your temperature.
Yeah, man. I probably went to 6 games this year. Just I wanted to see what the energy was
Nice.
like for the first two, and I just love it, man. The energy there is just totally different. The people that work there, you can tell they feel it. The people in the offices, the coaches. I love where we're headed in the direction. I do a lot of stuff with the team still, for with events and stuff like that. So it made me want to do more and be around more. Not just because of winning, just how they treating you and just the way that the respect is there, and just how professional they are now.
Hmm.
I really respect it, and I feel we're in the right direction, man. The sky's the limit. So go
I like you
Commanders.
say we. I like that you say we
Yeah,
still,
Yeah,
likewise,
man.
man. That make
Like
me
no
feel
matter
good as
what,
a
this still
fan,
home
bro.
yeah,
It's
team.
like, yo,
yeah,
Fred's
for
still
sure,
here,
man.
dog.
I'm a 7-year slave, man. I can't let it go.
Hey, we gonna have to
Uh,
write a book about that, bro.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
go.
for sure, man.
But we
No.
appreciate you, man. We
Yeah,
appreciate
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
sincerely, we appreciate you
Appreciate it.
coming on. And everyone that's tuning in, like, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to
Yes.
follow, Fred, and follow him on his journey. He's still here. He's still a part of the fan base.
Most definitely.
Obviously, player, now turned fan, and just overall, just putting us in just a better position. From like, we know what the energy is, man.
Hmm.
We know the energy is all around the DMV. It's different. Everything is different
Hmm.
right now. The energy around this team, we're loving it, and the fact that we have brought, Mr. Davis, Fred
Yes,
Davis
sir.
on, we just happy to have him on just to bring his energy and give us his feedback on the team and just his football career.
Yeah,
I
most
appreciate
definitely.
it, man. Love.
Fred,
Yeah.
now, real quick before you go, definitely want to make sure that people keep in mind to remember Fred Davis, because as I go through the interviews and just trying to prepare for this particular interview, I feel as though because of things that happen off the field, sometimes great players like yourself don't always get recognized. So for the fan
Oh
base,
yeah, yeah,
please
yeah.
continue to remember guys like Fred, because think about those years that he was producing. He was putting his body on the line for us. He's a real person. So Fred, we're appreciative of having you here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your legacy, man. And if there's ever anything we could do for you, please let us know.
Yeah, man. I'll check in with y'all during the season. Maybe we do a podcast or something during the season.
Yeah,
Talk some shit about the games.
Let's do it.
let's do it,
All right.
man.
Thanks,
We
man.
locked in.
Appreciate y'all having me, bro.
Appreciate
For
you, bro.
sure,
You be
man.
easy.
You know the
All
vibes.
right.
All
All
right,
right, be
bye
Blaze
blessed.
the
bye.
trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders never fail. From kickoff to the final play, we're here to win. Come with me. Together strong,